Second floor sports. Boys are absolutely back. It's been about a week.
Even longer. No, exactly.
Yeah, it's been a bit. It's been exactly a week. Yeah.
So I guess we didn't change the. We must have not changed like the date on the last rundown. I think the date on the last rundown is the 19th, and I was like that. I saw it and I was like, that doesn't quite seem right.
No, yeah, it was last Monday we had a show.
Yeah. It's only been a week.
Yeah, only been a week. Second floor sports. Ben Carlton, Matias Weilmann, as per usual. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Pods, Google Pods, Breaker.
Breaker.
Appreciate you tuning in.
Talk about noises we like on this show. Breaker.
This is like a debauchery start for us.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. We got a lot to get off our chest. If you're watching us on YouTube, appreciate the love. And if you are tuning in on IGTV, appreciate you as always. NBA starting back up tomorrow. We will have
strange.
NBA starting up tomorrow, meaning the training camp.
The league calendar. Yeah, like the season gets underway tomorrow. Yeah. We don't have games. What, preseason starts the 11th, I believe?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
We'll have a guest on Thursday, hopefully, to talk some things over, go through some storylines, biggest movers, things like that. Saw this tweet. It was like, honestly, the way things went this year, why don't we just have the NBA offseason be like 20 minutes next year? Like,
what do you mean?
You think the NBA can do an offseason in 20 minutes, like legit in 20 minutes?
No,
it's possible if you're allowed.
There's not enough time for the one. Well, you said with or without tampering?
With tampering, obviously without.
There's not enough time. 20 minutes isn't enough time to have a team sign someone and then the tampering news break afterwards. You need like a solid day for the news. Take the Bogdan trade. You need a solid day for to sit there and be like, hey, like this Bogdan sign trade is awesome for the Bucks, but then you need that like, oh my God, wait, notification the next day that the trade didn't go through. But then you need a whole other day for the tampering news to come out.
True. So 3 days?
Yeah, I guess 20 minutes probably isn't quite enough for the NBA offseason.
That's coming from this has nothing to do with anything, obviously.
Wait, so we're going to talk about something that has nothing to do with anything?
No, it's just because it's hilarious. It's hilarious. When I was like 4,
we're going way back.
When I was like 4, I think I was honestly probably younger than that. It was in like Hebrew school. And I had to write out the 10 commandments, and one of them was stay married, I think, for 20 minutes.
Wait.
I guess I had no concept of time.
Look, neither one of us, I wouldn't call either one of us religious scholars. I don't think one of the 10 commandments is stay married for 20 minutes.
Also ironic that both of our parents are divorced.
Yeah.
Don't think we're experts on either of these topics. But yeah, I guess I had no concept of time, and 20 minutes seemed like enough.
Yeah, that works.
Let's get to sports.
For now, we'll see what else comes up.
This ended up being a very entertaining week because of Thanksgiving, and it usually is. But looking at it, this is a stat you threw in the rundown. There were 3 games where both teams were over 500, which is
I mean, I was looking over the NFL schedule and trying to like sort our games into tiers the way we like to do. I wanted to go with different titles for the tiers.
I respect that.
We'd been doing must-see TV for a while. It's tier number 1. I wanted to change things up. So tier 1
while
this
being
week,
like 2 weeks.
Switch it up a little bit. Yeah. So tier 1, I've named Banger Alert, which is a phrase that we like to use frequently amongst our friend group.
Adequately phrased.
But yeah, there were only 3 games this week on the NFL schedule with both teams over 500. And one of those games is the Steelers-Ravens game that is currently set to be played tomorrow night. Apparently, that might be getting moved to later in the week, which has got fantasy implications, Mr. Commissioner. You better figure that one out.
Yeah, as if my job hasn't been hard.
So, I mean, it's 2.5 because realistically, the Ravens are going to get smoked tomorrow night if the game even happens tomorrow night.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if we're going with the roster as is, like they're getting their boots.
All right. For the sake of this show, so we don't have to keep doing the whole like if it gets played tomorrow night. Until we get the news that it's not being played tomorrow night, we're going to assume the game is being played tomorrow night.
We're taping this at 4:48 p.m. on Monday afternoon. As of right now, we've gotten the Schefter notification that they're considering moving it, but as of right now, the game is on.
Yes.
If you're in our fantasy league, do you hear that? As of right now, the game is on. I do not choose when this game is played, all right?
Ugh. This is why I don't want to be the fantasy football commissioner, because it's a lose-lose job.
God, it's a burden.
Let's get into this. Let's get into this first tier, and I'm sure everything will come back up. But we'll get into this right now. Sunday Night Football last night. Chiefs at the Bucks. The Chiefs won this one 27-24. Tyreek Hill. What do you even say? 203 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter on like 9 catches.
It's funny because like, Tony Romo and Jim Nantz were like, "Hey, he's on pace for 1,000 yards," and it was like, "You're kidding, whatever." And then he caught the second touchdown, and you're like, "Wait, is this guy going to go for like 450?"
Well, the funny thing is, I was making dinner during the first few minutes of the first quarter, so I didn't even realize that he was popping off. I literally was like, came back and was, I don't know, probably a minute in, and Tyreek Hill got his second touchdown. And then I see they like showed like Mahomes' stat line, it's whatever, like 260 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. And then they show Tyreek's stat line on like the scoreboard, and I literally thought it was a typo. And of course, I'm playing Tyreek Hill in 2 fantasy leagues.
Yeah, and you were up like 70, like you were cruising.
Yeah. I'm also still cruising. I'm up 50 right now. I put out a monster week in one of the leagues. I'm pretty sure Tyreek's going to beat me in the other league.
Yeah.
What was the Bucs' plan to cover Tyreek Hill?
Well,
he's the fastest man in the NFL.
Yeah,
objectively unbiased, he is the fastest player in the NFL right now.
Unconfirmed, but yeah.
The fastest player that like actually plays. Maybe there's like some random bench guy that is like technically faster.
John Ross might be technically faster.
Like I said, some random bench guy who doesn't actually play.
Scrub.
Yeah, a scrub for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And then after the second touchdown, there was a hilarious shot of Carlton Davis, the corner who was on his side of the field. Like it was not even that one. It was like him with his coaching staff, and he's like super frustrated and like animated. Yeah. They had him trying to cover Tyreek Hill one-on-one with no safety help. Like, I don't know if there was a safety supposed to help and the safety just didn't. I mean, it's inexcusable either way. Either the safety, was just free ball and was like, nah, I don't need to play over the top of Tyreek Hill. Or they literally thought they could cover Tyreek Hill one-on-one with, no disrespect to Carlton Davis. The dude's got a great name.
Ben Carlton Davis.
That's what they call me. He can't run with Tyreek Hill one-on-one. Like, I don't.
I've played flag football with you, Ben. No one is calling you Ben Carlton.
Nah, that's what they call me.
No one is calling you.
That's what they call me. I'm telling you.
I can't really talk because one time I lined up an interception and the receiver just went right, like just threw me to catch it.
Yep.
But
although at least I didn't catch you on camera getting put in the spin cycle like I got Josh on camera.
He's had worse moments, and I remember just.
Not just in terms of flag football, but
one game where Elliot Bauer, a good friend of the podcast, got smoked like twice, and one time got just a full hand on it and tipped it right to his receiver.
Yep.
And he just walked off the field. He's like, I'm not playing anymore. But at least on the first Tyreek touchdown, there was safety help, but Mahomes had someone else streaking on the side. I don't remember if it was Hardman or who else, and he looked off the safety. Still one-on-one.
Well, the first
Hill
one
just burned some.
The first one's more just like, it's the fucking Chiefs.
Burned them.
Like,
but the second one,
which 4-3 guy do you want to cover? Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Demarcus Robinson's 4-3. I was talking about this with one of my friends back home. Sammy Watkins is probably the slowest receiver on the Chiefs, and Sammy Watkins is
easily the slowest receiver.
By no means slow.
Travis Kelce doesn't count.
No, I mean literally wide receivers.
Wide receivers, yeah.
Sammy Watkins is not slow.
Yeah. The second one was just straight up it was like a post go, and he was just streaking right down the middle.
He went.
Yeah. He just burnt Carlton Davis. The Chiefs got back into the game. Brady
the Bucs, you mean?
Yes, also that. The Bucs got back into the game. Brady didn't look great again. Yeah, he looked very up and down.
Well, yeah, in first quarter, the Bucs offense couldn't get jack shit going. Brady was like 4 of 12, I think, something.
Yeah.
He didn't have 100 yards in the first quarter. Like, it was a miserable first quarter for the Bucs. Second quarter wasn't great. Brady, the yardage got going a little bit. But then when the Bucs are trying to get back into the game in the third quarter, Brady threw 2 picks.
Yeah.
Very enjoyable for some of us. What?
No, I thought you were gonna just keep saying something.
No, I just like watching Brady throw picks.
Okay. It's weird. Like, I'm not making excuses for him, but like they put up the graphic, and it's Bruce Arians' system. Just like the first year you're in it, you're gonna throw a boatload of picks. But Brady also has looked terrible. He's the worst quarterback under pressure this season by far.
It's almost like he's 42.
Yeah, it's almost like he's just like very much in the twilight of his career.
Well, and I think what's happening with Brady, and I've brought this up on the show a couple times, is Brady trusts his arm far too much at this point in his career. Brady tries to make things happen that he just physically can't do anymore.
His arm is not the most concerning part for me.
It's not the most. Well, it's
the decision making on some things, and like it goes to show that like, and it's not a fair criticism. I mean, you spend 20 years with a franchise or close to that under one head coach. You have a whole system around you, like that like works well for you, and like you are comfortable under that, and you have just mostly the same players in and out year in and year out.
I don't know if I would say that's part of it, but you're playing for the same head coach for 20 years.
Okay, fair, but like,
and like any offensive coordinator that comes in is building the system around you. When you're Tom Brady,
understand.
The offense is built around you. Like Tom Brady was never asked to really change his game to fit a new offensive coordinator. I mean, how long was McDaniels there for? Like 10 years?
He's there for a minute. Like that's what I'm saying. Mostly the same pieces around him. Edelman's been there for a while. James White has been there for a while. Offensive line obviously fluctuates, and the rest of the offense does. But you have like two reliable pieces, and your offensive coordinator, your head coach there. Like you're comfortable. This is some stuff that Romo was saying on the broadcast yesterday was besides just things being difficult under Arians their first year, is that a lot of it is just like after the snap reads that you have to make. And there's just some stuff that Brady hasn't been used to making the last couple of years. Also, like Brady must just be like, bro, can you guys just trade away like 4 first-round picks for James White at this point? Because like, especially last week, Fournette had like 4 drops or something like that. Like,
but also, like, what? Yeah, you're not expecting him to drop 4 passes, but like realistically, what are you expecting out of Leonard Fournette in the passing game?
Well, that's why it was so weird when they brought him in, honestly, because they needed that third down back.
And Jeremy in the comments on Instagram brings up an interesting point. He says he doesn't think the Bucs are going to make the playoffs. I wouldn't go that far yet.
Jeremy's also happy about being in first place.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. I don't think the Bucs are going to make a lot of noise in the playoffs, but I think they're in a pretty good spot to snag a wild card position right now.
Let's also forget they didn't have Jamel Dean last night. Wouldn't have made a difference on Tyreek.
Yeah,
wouldn't have made a difference on Tyreek. But that's one of the top 5 1-2 corner combos in the league, probably. Or it has been this season.
I really don't know.
Yeah, has been this.
That's accurate or not, but
has been this season.
And the Bucs have one of the best defenses in the league, obviously.
I not too concerned about the Bucs, but look, I mean, you gotta look at this in the way that you lost to what is clearly the best team in the league. What is the best team in the league?
They're the best team in the league.
Yeah, you lost to what is the best team in the league.
Let me revise that. The Steelers are the best team in the league right now. The Chiefs are still my pick to win the Super Bowl, and I think probably yours too.
I don't even know if I can call the Steelers the best team in the league right now.
Oh, now Jeremy's saying the Ravens game's on Wednesday. Did you get a notification?
I did not. I just got a notification that Edelman was on the COVID list.
Checking online right now.
Always breaking news on Second Floor Sports.
NFL, Adam Schefter, Twitter. What we got?
Breaking news.
Wednesday just happened.
Wow. I wonder why. They must be waiting for some tests to come in that they're not sure about.
Yeah.
And they just need to have enough people to play. Either way, Ravens
I'll keep Schefter's Twitter pulled up, and I'll try to update.
The Ravens are just delaying the inevitable. I mean, they're not delaying, but the league is delaying the inevitable for the Ravens. They're gonna get
smoked.
They're gonna get their boots smoked.
It's like what we've been saying about the Niners all year. Like, you play with your C team in an NFL game, you're going to lose.
At least the Niners have had some weeks to prepare for it.
But they're also still playing with a C team. But we'll get into the Niners a little bit later. And the last thing about the Bucs here is there definitely were some positives to take away. I mean, when you're down 17-0 to the Chiefs in the first quarter, I think more often than not, you get your shit clapped. Like, you get blown out. And the fact that the Bucs were able to not only stop the bleeding, and not even like control the bleeding, they were able to stop the bleeding. They only allowed 10 more points after the first quarter. The Bucs defense played really well, and Brady and the offense obviously found some success later in the game. Brady had 345 yards and 3 touchdowns. Also 2 kind of back-breaking picks in the third quarter. Mm-hmm. And it's the up and down we've seen from Brady all season long, honestly.
At this point with the Chiefs, like, I would rather be in a very close game with them than be ahead. Because when you're ahead on the Chiefs, they're like, fuck it. We don't have to run. We're just going to throw it every time, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
All right, we've talked enough about Ravens Steelers. Let's kind of put a bow on it. Just what we think. Obviously, like, we've talked about this before, but it's obviously a very good Steelers team. So Ravens team that should be good, probably still is good. But
the Ravens. You talk about the Pats as one of the most confusing teams in the league. I would posit that the Ravens are even more confusing because the Ravens should be really good.
Yeah,
the Pats by no means should be good this year. We'll get into the Pats a little bit later.
Let me make this abundantly clear.
Abundantly.
If the Ravens don't turn their shit around soon, they're going to miss the playoffs.
They are currently missing the playoffs.
They are currently missing the playoffs with one game less played. And the Browns are 8-3. The Raiders took a shitty loss, but they're still right there.
Well, can you say that again?
The Browns are 8-3.
Wow.
The worst 8-3, huh? The worst 8-3 team I've ever seen in my goddamn life.
Easily. Speaking of
the Browns being an overrated team. Look at that.
I was gonna say this when we talked about the game. You beat me to it, Jack. You are just in time. The Browns are the worst 8-3 team in the league. They are.
The Browns are the worst winning record team in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though? The Browns aren't a division leader right now.
Yeah, well, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big brother is still in first, you know. Obviously the Ravens have 20 plus guys on the COVID list. Is that legit?
That's the number I saw earlier today. I honestly probably should have looked it up, but I didn't.
It's something like 20.
It's 20 plus. I think I saw 23 at one point earlier this week. Jack, I feel like Jack hasn't been in the comment section in a while.
Jack Powers, like any other Browns fan, is just literally hanging their hat on the only impressive win the Browns have had this season, which
the Browns couldn't.
They hung 30 plus on the Colts, which is very impressive because the Colts have one of the best defense in the league. However, if you watch that game, I literally think that Phillip Rivers was paid
also
off
almost
to throw
2
it.
months ago at this point.
Yeah,
And let's talk about some of the the Browns have 8 wins. They have won 8 NFL games this season. There's no disputing that point. Let's talk about some of these wins. Going in reverse order here from this past week, moving backwards.
God, it's working.
2-point win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. 5-point win over the Philadelphia Eagles. 3-point win over the Texans. 3-point win over the Cincinnati Bengals. If the Browns are so good, how are you not beating these teams by more than a score?
In all seriousness, right? Like Jack Powers in the chat putting, you got to play the schedule you're given, which is completely true. But you would like to see more than a 3-point win. But I don't want to talk about the Browns anymore right here because we're talking about good games. Let's put a bow on Ravens Steelers.
Jack just says, all I hear are your tears. Do you normally hear tears, or is that more like a visual thing?
Oh, man, we got Jack Powers and your dad in the live.
Let's go.
Ravens Steelers, it's going to be rough.
Yeah.
Should have been a really good game. This would have been a perfect game for the Ravens just to be like you said last week, if you can't get up for this game, you deserve to miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Titans Colts. Woo!
Another game that I really was looking forward to was a closer, more exciting game. Not so much.
I don't know why I picked the Colts, honestly. Before the season started, I had them splitting. I picked the Colts right the first time. And I was like, the Titans are going to win this, right? No, the Colts will win. No, they didn't. Derrick Henry had other ideas. He had, 150 and 3 touchdowns in the first half, looking like the Buffalo running back. Who had,
Jarrett Patterson.
Yeah, who had 406 yards and 8 touchdowns in a fucking game.
That was 88.9 fantasy points, I think, right there.
Ridiculous. I think he literally averaged
85 plus.
Averaged 11.5 yards per carry on 38 carries.
And they pulled him before they could even get either record.
It was ridiculous. P. Ryan, big man, leading the charge with the touchdown record.
All right, I got to touch on the Giants real quick. Otherwise, my dad will kill me, and Jeremy Goldstein will probably come up here and kill me too.
Okay.
Look.
Wow, you want to talk about the Giants for banger alert?
Well, no, I'm trying to be a man of the people here. We got the fans.
This is how you rope them in. This is how you rope them in. You make them stay for the end of the show.
We always talk about how we don't get like engagement on our Instagram. We don't get like people talking in the mailbag and stuff.
Whoa.
We got fans. We got fans talking
about
the Giants right now. I'm trying to expose these people. I want more. Oh, my lights are flickering. That's fun. Look, it's cool that the Giants are leading the division. Like, I guess the Giants have like none of these wins are impressive. John. Oh, that one threw me off. Josh hit me with that one earlier. I'm not going to say that one on the air.
No, I can't say that one.
That one was pretty funny. I thought so. Look, like it's like maybe the Giants somehow finish like 8-8 and are like semi decent. Like maybe kind of, sort of. They're not.
Defense isn't bad.
Look, I mentioned this about the Bills earlier this season, and hear me out here. When you were kind of I said, hear me out. When you were talking about how you like didn't really believe in the Bills because they had like a really easy schedule earlier in the year, I kept saying the Bills had graduated from being one of the bad teams to beating bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
Is it, super convincing and filling me with confidence that the Giants beat 2 NFC East teams and the Cincinnati Bengals?
With Ryan Finley. Yeah,
the Bengals with no Joe Burrow. 2 words, David Tyree. Thank you, Dad. If the Giants can hang with like a good team, then maybe I'll be happy.
You did hang with a good team. You lost to the Bucs, but
that's because the Giants always play Brady tough. I mean, we know that. Oh, it's Brandon Allen. Jeremy brought up a good point.
Oh, true. Yeah. Sorry.
The Giants are just so frustrating. Like, I want to be happier for them. And maybe the Giants are a well-coached bad team, which honestly I will take. I will take the Giants being a well-coached bad team who beat up on and maybe this is the Giants' first step out of like the truly like bottom tier of the NFL. Maybe that's what this is. Like I'm trying to talk myself into a little bit of confidence here.
Well, I mean, at this point,
maybe Joe Judge is a really good head coach. Maybe Patrick Graham is the truth as a defensive coordinator.
What do you have? You have 4 wins on the season?
4-7, yeah, leading the NFC East.
I mean, honestly, at this point, you're out of just like, wow, we deserve a top 3 pick in the league. Like we did a top 3 pick in the draft. Like you're out of that, right? At this point, the only like difficult thing about this is that at this point, regardless of where if you win the division or not, obviously it's a super different pick if you do or don't.
Yeah.
But in a draft like this, having more than 2 wins means that you'll probably hold on to your quarterback if you're the Giants.
Well, the Giants are Daniel Jones is the Giants quarterback next season.
No, but what I'm saying is if you had the number 1 overall pick.
Or top 2, I think
if you had
Trevor
the top
Lawrence
2
and Justin Fields are both good enough for you to scrap your young quarterback.
Hell, if you had a top 3 pick, right? Say Fields drops to 3. Say he does.
I don't see any way.
I don't know why.
But
yes, but say he drops to 3, right? And you're the Giants and you have the 3rd overall pick. If you have the 3rd overall pick, then you probably don't believe in Daniel Jones. At this point, you have 4 wins. You're probably not going to pick in the top. You're definitely not.
That's why I'm trying to talk myself into a little bit of confidence, just like help myself sleep at night. Maybe we're not like an F tier team in the NFL anymore.
Yeah.
I think the real downside about winning the division and possibly making the playoffs is then we keep fucking Dave Gettleman around, who has done nothing to warrant being around.
Well, that's not even the worst part. The worst part is that if you win your division, regardless of if you win your division or not, the Giants are a shitty football team, right?
Yeah.
If you win your division, you get a draft pick as if you are in the top half.
As if you're as if you're like any other division.
Yeah, right. As if you're like
over 500.
Yeah, that's like if you win your division, that's saying you're better than the Cardinals, you're better than the Raiders, you're better than the Dolphins.
Well, look who the Giants play the rest of the season. Like, which of these teams do we beat? Got the Seahawks next week.
No.
Then Arizona.
No.
Then Cleveland, maybe, but the Browns will probably beat the Giants by like 3 because the Browns can't possibly beat bad teams by more than a score.
Yeah.
Got the Ravens after Christmas. Maybe the Ravens suck now. They don't.
They're going to throw up a 55.
And then we finish against Dallas after New Year's. Maybe we win 2 of these games, and then we're 5-11. 5-11, winning the division. How is that good?
This is what
Like,
has
Jeremy, can I talk to Jeremy for a second?
Oh God,
Jeremy, and tell me right now, what is good about winning the division at 5-11? That's the worst division winner in NFL history.
I just imagine like the 15 people that listen to our podcast on Spotify and stuff, and that one person in Germany that listens.
True.
I just imagine these people just like, who the fuck is Jeremy? Like, who is Jack Powers? Who are they talking to? Like,
Jeremy, watching a Giants playoff game to watch us get smoked? What playoff team do we beat?
I don't think you beat a single playoff team.
We don't.
Yeah.
Like, let me look at the NFC playoff picture right now. Like, I'm trying. Let me preface this by saying I'm trying to be like as irrationally optimistic as I can be without telling you the Giants are going to run the table the rest of the season. I don't know who we beat. We don't beat the Saints. We don't beat the Packers. We don't beat the Seahawks. The Rams are on
to be fair,
the Rams.
To be fair, once you're in the playoffs, anything could happen. But like,
okay, but like, everyone wants to bring up, and everyone, I mean, like Stratton and my dad.
Your best chance is probably against the Seahawks there.
Our best chance against the Rams, I would say.
Okay, yeah, because you want to talk about a confusing fucking team.
The Rams are not confusing. The Rams are – Jared Goff is a mediocre quarterback.
Bro, that's a confusing.
Yes, I am saying we shouldn't win the division. Being the worst division winner in NFL history is not a title I want.
Ideally, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, ideally for the Giants, you win 1 or 2 of the games left. You don't win the division. You see enough from Daniel Jones and the rest of the young guys.
We might not see Daniel Jones for another, 2 weeks.
True. Have they announced what it was?
Hamstring strain.
Yeah. For an elite mobile quarterback like that.
For the fastest running quarterback in the NFL the last 3 years. That's
for white Michael Vick.
Vanilla Vick.
Vanilla Vick, sorry.
Look, it's a factual statement that Daniel Jones has the fastest run by a quarterback in the NFL in the last 3 years. That's a factual statement.
Also, you ever seen the picture of Vanilla Vick?
No.
Absolutely. ESPN tried to do an article about a white Michael Vick, and it's fucking terrifying. All right, can let's talk about the Titans and the Colts. We started talking about them. It's hard enough to put a time code on it now because we just spent 20 minutes yelling about the Giants. But let's run through. We're trying
to give the people what they want.
Let's run through Titans Colts right now. The strength of this Colts defense is their pass defense. Besides that huge run pass they got.
I'd say the strength of their team is their defense.
Yeah, okay, their defense as a whole. But
they're the number one defense in the league. I'd say it's more than just their pass defense.
Okay, but I'm saying their pass defense is better than the run defense.
I mean,
negligible, sure. They got run over by Derrick Henry. They did a decent job on Tannehill, but Tannehill in the end
had a good day. Tannehill had a very good Ryan Tannehill day where he doesn't have to do a whole lot. He can throw a 10-yard in to A.J. Brown, who takes it 60 yards to the house.
Mm-hmm.
He did exactly what we saw Ryan Tannehill do to lead them to the goddamn AFC Championship game last year.
That's what I'm saying. He had a decent day until it turned into Derrick Henry rushing for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half, and the Colts being like, well, fuck, I guess we have to just let Ryan Tannehill throw all over us. And the best example of that was at the goal line when at the end of the first half, read option to Henry, and everyone went that way. And you have to dive on Henry, and Tannehill went untouched.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're saying it as if this is something we've never seen before.
Not crazy.
We know exactly what the Titans are looking to do, which is give Derrick Henry the ball 30 times a game.
Absolutely.
And then when defenses put 9 in the box, Ryan Tannehill can throw the ball to A.J. Brown for a 70-yard touchdown.
Okay, but there's a difference if you're doing a decent job on Henry, or if you let up 150 yards, right? Because if you're doing a decent – Derrick Henry is like any other elite – Let me finish. Let me finish, damn it.
You stopped talking when I just looked at you. I didn't even say anything yet.
Let me finish, damn it. Because I thought you were just going to start yelling. Derrick Henry is a very good running back, but like any other running back, he has a lot of days where he'll average like 3-4 yards per carry, and then he'll rip off like 3 or 4 20-yard runs, right?
Yes and no.
Yes.
How many times, though, have we seen Derrick Henry have like a not great first half, but then defenses get very fucking tired of trying to tackle a 250-pound man, and he runs for another like 120 yards in the second half?
Well, that's been the big thing too this season, is that Vrabel and the rest of the coaching staff have done a good job of kind of, monitoring his workload, at least in the first half. Like, but like, okay, the last 3 weeks, I think. I don't know why this isn't loading. Last 3 weeks.
Wi-Fi, bro. Come on.
No, I accidentally, when you're like trying to scroll and you accidentally go back.
Oh, yeah.
Last 3 weeks, 103, 133, 178 yards, right?
Yep, just another guy, just another running back.
I'd never said he was just another guy, but for an elite running back, right?
Which Derrick Henry unquestionably is.
Yes, he is potentially the best running back in the league.
Have you heard of Wayne Gallman?
Anyways, ever heard of Rex Burkhead? Rest in peace. Going from, not counting these last 3 games, he's got 68 rushing yards, 112. Good. 75 rushing yards, 212. Very good. 57 rushing yards, 119. 89 or 84, 116. You're seeing a trend here? Like,
okay, but like
84 is still good.
What are his touchdown numbers there? Do you have a touchdown? How many?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So in the game that he had 68 yards, no touchdowns. 75 yards, 1 touchdown. 57 yards, 2 touchdowns. 84 yards, 0 touchdowns. Okay, but that might be a 1-yard punch.
I feel like okay, but like,
I'm not taking anything away.
I'll take 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'll take 75 yards and a touchdown. I'll take 86 yards and a touchdown.
The only point I'm trying to make here is that a Derrick Henry game where he has like 86 yards and when he has 150 yards, that offense looks completely different because it's Derrick Henry and that's where the focus is. That's all. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's all what I'm trying to say.
I'm not following you on this one, dog. I think there's going to have to be an agree to disagree here.
All right. Fine. We won't just yell about something that we're not really understanding. Yeah, no, fine. Tier 2. These are solid matchups. Your category was solid matchups. Solid matchups should be fun.
Yeah.
One of those was correct.
Let me preface tier 2 and tier 3 here. There's a gap between tier 1 to tier 2 and tier 3 here. I put all 3 games where both teams are over 500 in tier 1. I went through like 4 different names for tier 2, trying to like figure out how to properly describe these games.
The two games are Cardinals Pats and Raiders Falcons. I'm surprised you put Raiders Falcons in tier 2.
Well, I thought we'd see the Raiders team that has almost beat the Kansas City Chiefs twice this year, as opposed to the Raiders team, and as opposed to the Derek Carr-led Raiders team that's going to turn the ball over 5 times and let the Atlanta Falcons hold you to 6 points.
Fair. No.
And I think the Falcons are a team that they're practically immune to winning games at times. They're a talented team they're a talented but flawed team. There's
never doubt about that. And we're playing without Julio.
Yeah. So I said it's not must-see TV. It's not a, crazy game. It's a solid little matchup that should have been better than a 43-6 blowout, in my opinion.
The worst part or the most confusing part for the Raiders in this is that this Falcons defense is bad. And like, it wasn't just that the Falcons offense hung 43 on the Raiders. There was a pick 6 in there. Derek Carr lost 3 fumbles. Like, that's
throw a pick.
Derek Carr this season has taken care of the ball better interception-wise. Fumbles have still been a little bit of an issue for him.
And we know fumbles can be a little random, a little bit unpredictable.
Unless you're Daniel Jones.
Yeah. Which fumble.
Or and Cam Newton. Like, this is a weird game, man. Did not see this one coming at all.
You got to just chalk this one. It literally doesn't make any sense. Like, of all the ways that you could have like predicted this game to go, a 43-6 blowout is not at all what I would have expected. I mean,
if you would have told me like the Falcons are going to win this game like 28-21, I'm like, sure, okay, I could see that happening. Like, I could see it happening.
And the Raiders didn't give up 43 points to the Chiefs.
Yeah, and it's funny because poor Matthew Berry, right? Like his
I don't know
like,
about say poor Matthew Berry, but
yeah, he's probably doing all right.
Even though he's behind the paywall now.
Yeah,
fuck you, ESPN.
Fucking ridiculous. Like his love and hate for the week, or was he? Love and hate. Yeah, love hate. Like he had Derek Carr as his number one love quarterback for the week because it's a terrible defense and he has good offense around him, and they've been clicking recently. He's got a great running back that they can just pound, and then they go on to play action. And none of that fucking happened. Jacobs had 30 yards. Crazy. It makes no sense.
And it's I said they held the Chiefs to 32 and 35, but they hung right with the Chiefs.
You can say that. They held the Chiefs to 32.
Yeah, you can hold the Chiefs
a not elite defense. Like Tampa Bay is a very good defense. Yeah. The Raiders do not have a very good defense.
No.
They're just division games are weird, man.
I will say too, I think part of the issue with putting these tiers together, it's because we did do our show on Thursday. It's I'm trying to put myself in the state of mind where what I would have thought about these games before they got played, as opposed to ranking them afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, weird game, and like I said, big gap between those three games.
Mm-hmm. We have I'm just gonna bookmark the question that just got thrown in our Instagram. Top 3 anytime touchdown scores for tonight. We'll throw that at the end, right before we do mailbag.
Okay.
I think that's a really interesting question.
That means you got to stick around, Strat.
Oh.
You can take the lead on cards, Pats here. I'll let you take the lead.
Cards, Pats. I'll start by going through the game and then what I thought after. Kyler Murray hurt his shoulder last week. Cliff Kingsbury admitted that he worked around it, and obviously he wasn't hurt enough that he couldn't play in the game, but he admitted that he worked around it. He had 4 rushes. He had 4 rushes in that game.
That you should with a young quarterback and when you're a Cardinals team that is still on the up and up. Yeah, find a play it a little safe there. You don't need to RG3 your young quarterback.
Murray had 3 or 4 rushes this week against the Patriots, which leads me to believe that he was not 100% again. No, not Larry Fitzgerald. Huge blow to them. No. Everyone knows this is a very smart Patriots team. It's a very talented secondary. This was the classic, really talented, high-flying offense against Bill Belichick, a team that everyone counts out. And
for a very good reason this year. Let's get that out there.
Yes, for a very good reason. It's what happened last week against Lamar and the Ravens, right? There's no reason the Patriots should be in that game, but Belichick's seen Murray before. He's seen Jackson before. He has something to build a defensive game.
Well, Belichick's seen fucking everything before.
Yeah, he also sacrificed a child last week.
Multiple children.
The Patriots
really was just last week. That's wild.
Yeah. Patriots offense did not look good in this game. Let's be abundantly clear. Cam Newton through the first 3 quarters had 75 yards passing, I think. Their offense did not look good, but they had a huge kick return by Philip Dorsett, shout out. And they had a huge punt return by Gunnar Olszewski. Now, let's talk about that fucking punt return. Because I don't know if you saw the video, Ben.
I saw it after the fact. I don't think I even saw it on Red Zone in the moment.
That was a ridiculous call. It was a blindside block where the man that got blocked was facing the guy that blocked him. Now, they brought in Dean Blandino.
The guy.
Well, I like that at least the NFL, they aren't just narcs in the NBA when they bring in officiate.
What do you mean?
They bring in officials. If you ever watch in an NBA game where they
I've never watched an NBA game, Matias.
I know.
Thank you for asking.
If you pay attention when they bring in an official for
Is it a Knicks game? In which case I'm not paying attention.
No, it's got to be a national game.
Okay.
No, they brought in Blandino, and what he was explaining was that the player has to be moving away from his goal line.
Yeah.
He can't be moving towards. He cannot be moving towards his goal line. And one other thing, and he was not moving towards his goal line. He literally looped around perfectly, got in his line of sight, lowered his shoulder, went shoulder to shoulder. The defender braced for it, It was a perfect block to spring a punt return touchdown. They called it back.
So you mean to tell me the NFL botched a call?
Yes. It was Kevin Burkhardt, and I don't remember who was on color. Whoever was on color was just going off for 5 minutes, and he was like, you know what? I need to stop doing this. Like, I can't just keep
I quit.
Yeah. Well, even besides that, Patriots offense did not look great, but did enough to beat the Cardinals 2019. Cardinals offense did not look good because Murray did not look healthy. He didn't run the ball, and that's a completely different offense if he can't run it.
I mean, that's the reality of the NFL is you're probably not going to be playing 100%, playing at 100% for every single one of your games. I mean, Daniel Jones came out of the Giants game, obviously, with a hamstring issue, and I saw a great tweet talking about Eli Manning's 250-something consecutive games played without missing a single snap, without coming out of the game once.
It's ridiculous.
Like, it's luck to a certain point. Like, toughness.
What do you mean to a certain point? That's like 50-50 luck and toughness at that point, honestly. At that point, like...
I mean, split it up however you want.
Well, you don't want to debate the percentage split up of that?
I would love to, Matias. Let's fucking do it. Point being, you're not going to be playing every single NFL game of your career at 100%. You got to play through injuries, and sometimes you have to do things in game to protect yourself from making an injury worse.
Yeah. It's just hard because
that's the reality of it.
And like Kyler Murray is still a good pocket passer, but again, that offense takes a huge step back if he can't run the ball.
Kyler Murray's an improving pocket passer, let's say.
Also, your boy Isaiah Simmons, with a rough hit at the end.
Yeah. Been playing better. He's actually playing now.
He's actually playing, and he has been playing better, but it was a rough hit.
I saw he had there was a 3-week stretch. I think weeks 7 through 10 or maybe 6 through 9. He had this third highest coverage grade by PFF amongst all linebackers. And of course, because it's Pro Football Focus confirming my own viewpoints and personal bias,
then it's got to be.
It makes perfect sense. It's true.
If we have to rank the top, not ranking them in no order, top 5 confusing teams in the NFL: Ravens.
You got to put this thing in the rundown. I would love to do this, but you're just springing it on me.
Okay, Patriots, Ravens, Rams. Other confusing teams, not disappointing.
The New York Giants?
No, just confusing. You guys are not a good team. You're still a 4-win team.
Yep. Oh, sorry. We'd be 6. I realized we'd be 6-10 if we won 2 more games this season, not 5-11.
Yeah. Yes.
Huge difference there, by the
way. Browns a confusing team?
No, I wouldn't call the Browns confusing.
Okay, so call those the top 3 confusing teams in the league. It's if you go through it for the Patriots, beat the Cardinals and beat the Ravens.
Could you almost put Seattle in there?
No, because I'd probably just cough those up to being hiccups. They're still a very good football team.
Throw another hiccup in there, and maybe we're talking about them.
Yeah.
Say 07 vibes one more time. I don't even know.
Has he just been blurting that out?
Yeah, literally for the last 5 weeks.
Figured.
There was a Hall of Famer on that team. We had Michael. I'm not getting back into it. I'm not getting.
You have Slippery Slayton. That's a Hall of Famer right there. For the Patriots, if you look at the resume, win against the Ravens, win against the Cardinals. Those are 2 playoff teams right there, right? Those are 2 good teams. Lose to the Broncos after Cam comes back from COVID. Before that, you played Kansas City really close without Cam. Remember, Brian fucking Hoyer was starting that game, and we had a chance to.
I thought Jarrett Stidham was the truth in New England.
No,
what happened?
Cam Newton.
Texas.
Cam Newton did not play well yesterday. Jarrett Stidham has to be awful to not be playing the way that Cam has been playing the last.
That always cracks me up when preseason, in a situation like this where a team loses their quarterback and insert young quarterback here gets talked about as the future.
Yeah.
And then insert young quarterback here doesn't play behind some middle of the road, random journeyman veteran. Very telling.
I still think Cam has enough in the tank to be a decent quarterback on a team that has more talent than the Patriots, because the way for the Patriots, they could be 8-3 or they could be 3-8.
Could they be 8-3?
No. I'm saying the way that how inconsistent this has gone, they could be 8-3, but they also, at the same token, they could be 3-8.
Yeah, I think my professional opinion here.
Okay, yeah, hit me. I still think they're overperforming, by far.
I think you're suffering from the Pats have been good for 20 years and now they suck. and you're looking to kind of spin it. The Pats offense has nobody, and they haven't had any
That's what I'm
good
saying.
pieces for what, 3 years?
That's what I'm saying. They're overperforming. They're completely over. Think about this, Ben. You tell me an NFL team this season has beaten the Cardinals, has beaten the Ravens, and could have beaten the Chiefs, but then also needed a game-winning field goal to beat the Jets, lost to the Broncos, and got blown out by the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of onto something there.
Yeah, right? Like, that's what I'm saying.
But that's like you do look at the roster and you look at like what they're trying to do offensively, and it's like they have nobody.
They have
Absolutely no one.
I like what they're drafting.
Who's the best player on the Pats offense?
Best player on their offense?
Is it Cam?
Damiere Byrd? Damian Harris?
Maybe it's Jacoby Myers because Cam loves him, apparently.
Wide receiver one, Jacoby Myers. But it's just been the lack of consistency
point being,
for anyone. Yes, there is no.
The Pats have absolutely no difference makers offensively.
Yes. Yeah. Which, like, I was talking with a friend of mine who used to be a big Panthers fan, loves Cam. Like,
is it Joe Guido?
It's not Joe Guido's. My friend Kevin Fusemore, a.k.a. Trey Andrews. Check out his music.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Nah, he's got bangers, man.
No, I obviously like follows the show, and I was wondering who that was.
He's like, who the hell is it? It's funny. Our show Instagram has just a weird combination of people. Sometimes I'll be on there and be like, who the hell is this? I'm like, oh, right. It's the show.
Well, sometimes I'll be scrolling through like stories and not realize I'm on the show Instagram and be like, who do I follow?
Look, I mean, is Cam taking a hit, like production-wise, because his receivers are Damiere Byrd, N'Keal Harry, and Jacoby Myers, and he lost probably his like most versatile running back in Rex Burkhead? Probably.
Yeah.
Did Cam Newton not play well yesterday? Has he not played well this season, apart from like 3 full quarters? Also true.
Yeah.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Right,
but
let's wrap up the Pats talk here. If you're going to talk to me about spending too long talking about the Giants, I'm going to say we can wrap up the Pats talk after 15 minutes.
Yeah, we got a couple games left, about 15 minutes. Let's rip through these.
I'll group the 2 Thanksgiving Day games together because they both had remarkably similar scores and they were remarkably not close.
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah. Texans Lions was the 1 o'clock or what, a 12:30 start, I think it was.
Yeah, 12:30.
Deshaun Watson has his best game of the season. It reminds everybody why Deshaun Watson is one of the best young quarterbacks, one of the best quarterbacks we have in the NFL today.
Mm-hmm.
Like if the Texans can like figure out how to like build a team within the next like 2 years, they're right back into contention. Like if you've got Deshaun Watson, you just got to build a team around Deshaun Watson, or he's going to get the fuck out of there. And I don't know why he wouldn't. Honestly, and how long does Deshaun Watson give the Texans?
Well, he just signed that huge deal for what, 5 years?
I forget.
I think like
5 or 6. Yeah.
It's hard because a player like Deshaun Watson has said all the right things. If you're a Texans fan, to think that he's going to stay there, right? And like he seems like that kind of person.
Sign him to trade him. You ever hear that one before?
Yes, I have. He seems like that kind of person, right? That would stay in Houston. He seems like he really likes Houston. Again,
it's easy for us to like say that. Have you ever had a personal conversation with Deshaun Watson?
No, absolutely fucking not.
I have. You're exactly right. He is that type of guy.
Okay.
No, obviously we don't know Deshaun Watson personally.
Yeah. I mean, Paul George also said that he would have loved to stay in Indiana and then, fucking requested a trade like a year later. The problem with something like this, there's a difference between being bad and your team trying and your team just completely fucking up. What the Texans have done the last 2-3 seasons is completely fuck up. That is a big difference between that and just being bad. Speaking of a team that didn't fuck up, though, the Lions firing Matt Patricia finally and Bob Quinn, their GM. That shit was long overdue.
One of the worst coaching hires I think we've probably ever seen in our lives as sports fans. Not necessarily but hear me out here. Jim Caldwell was good.
Yeah.
It wasn't great and kind of underperformed and like left a fair amount to be desired. The Lions were a borderline playoff team for a few years.
They made the playoffs this last season.
Yeah. I completely forgot about that.
They went 9-7, I'm pretty sure.
Good, not great.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're stuck at like good, not great, you say, okay, we need to change things up. You bring in a new head coach.
You have a chance to get Matt Patricia too. You're like, okay,
who was the hottest name of that coaching that offseason.
There's an article that says the Lions made the safest hire by hiring Matt Patricia.
Yeah. He'd lost the locker room from day one. Then they kept him around for another 3 years.
Yeah.
What finished 13 games under 500. I didn't put his record in. I believe he was like, I don't remember exactly what his record was. Bad every year.
Yeah.
Obviously the GM's got to go as well. They're going full rebuild as they should.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Matt Stafford because he's obviously moving towards the back end of his career. Mm-hmm. And not at the back end of his career yet, but he's not getting any younger. He's not Benjamin Button.
I still think Stafford's gone in the next 2 years.
Gone from the NFL or gone from Detroit?
No, gone from Detroit.
Yeah, I was going what?
And let's talk about the second.
If they're gonna get rid of their head coach and GM, you might. It's always tough to trade. It's so tough to trade star players in the NFL because you're never gonna get.
And Matthew Stafford's not a star player.
No, but he's not a star player, but he's a bona fide good NFL starting quarterback.
Say Philip Rivers retires, you can get Matt Stafford for pretty cheap.
Yeah, you do that. You
right?
Do that.
Yeah. That with the speed that the Colts receivers have,
look, if Kirk Cousins can sign a 4-year, $80-something million fully guaranteed deal, I think Matt Stafford can.
Hey, put some respect on Captain Kirk's name for this week, at least. Let's go through the team at the Cowboys. The Cowboys got smoked 41-16, got dominated in the game. I really thought
America. It's so funny. Oh,
Will Fuller suspended 6
Speaking
of the Texans being fuck-ups, Will Fuller
prohibited medication.
So he was just smoking a lot of weed.
Well, no, they would have said it was weed. They would have said it was weed if he got suspended. It wasn't a drug test.
Will Fuller suspended
prohibited
for 6
medication.
Weeks. Yikes. Well, thankfully for the Texans, they have their first-round picks, and they can be bad and use those.
Right.
Anyways.
Tough day to be a Texans fan.
Team at Cowboys.
At least he popped off in fantasy this week.
Yeah, true.
Anyways, the team at the Cowboys. How did the Cowboys become America's team? Because I don't know anyone outside of Dallas that's not thrilled to see them get absolutely smoked with everyone watching.
You absolutely love to see it.
Maybe I'm biased as a Giants fan, but
I don't like the Cowboys.
No one likes the Cowboys. Yeah. How are they America's team? They got worked.
The Patriots are America's team. Let's be real.
Funny. That's funny. That's really funny.
Let's be real. Who is America's team? The Packers?
Honestly, I'm trying to think who. Okay, but everyone in Chicago hates the Packers.
Yeah, no one's okay. But even when Dallas was America's team, quote unquote, everyone in Philly, everyone in Washington, and everyone in New York hated them, right?
I think,
and everyone outside of there hated them too.
I think realistically. Anyone
it should be the Bills. If the Bills are good, it'll be the Bills.
Yeah, people can get behind the Bills.
I can get behind the Bills.
I was going to say most of the country loves to watch the Pats lose, which is a fair statement.
Okay.
It is.
Don't agree, but
you don't think the entire country loves to watch the Patriots lose? Whatever.
Just reeling them in.
That one shot, and this is going to be the last point on this game because it was fucking 41-16. That one shot of Jerry Jones, just looking so miserable and depressed with the scoreboard underneath him reading 41-16. Oh, I want to put that on my wall across from my desk here.
Just absolutely beautiful. The only good thing that's ever come out of Dallas is when they take a perfect picture of when a team is starting a drive and you have the beautiful sun
golden
coming in.
godlight coming in. Yeah,
it's one of the sickest Patriots pictures I've ever seen is that.
Yeah.
Next game, Bears at Packers. Packers smoked their boots 41-25. I'm glad we can all just finally stop talking about the Bears because they're not a good team.
Did you see Mitch Trubisky's pregame speech though?
No, what was it? That was a good speech. Well,
I
love that. Who was on sidelines
for that game?
Or no. It was Mike Tirico who had said it. Mike Tirico said
it was John Vicari on sidelines.
Okay. Matt Nagy had said that this was the best week of practice he had seen from Mitch Trubisky all week. And you want to know what the worst part was? Mitch Trubisky did not play well in this game.
No.
but I don't know if Mitch Trubisky was the reason they lost this game. Like, that defense got
he
shredded.
wasn't.
He
The
definitely
defense
didn't
got
help.
shredded. He certainly didn't help them.
Their defense got shredded, but, like, yeah, that was a really bad interception. The first
Which one? Yeah.
The first one.
And the remarkable thing is Mitch Trubisky is always capable of both overthrowing and underthrowing a pick in every game. It's like clockwork.
Honestly impressive.
Like, all right, like Daniel Jones tends to underthrow his interceptions. At least that's what I've noticed. Mm-hmm. Mitch Trubisky does both. He's a dual threat quarterback. He can overthrow a guy. He can underthrow a guy. He can throw into triple coverage. He can do it all.
I love people like to joke about Josh Allen not being a quarterback, just being a running back. Mitch Trubisky should just be a running back, dude. Like,
Strat brings up a great point. Trubisky's 5-1 as the starter this season.
Okay.
He's only lost one game.
I'm sorry, but – and I know he's kidding.
Well, he's not kidding. It is Mitch Trubisky's first loss of the season.
If you go 3-0 and you get benched, like, bro.
Was that 5? Weren't the Bears – or no, he was 5 – the Bears were 5-1 with Trubisky.
Are they? Did Nick Foles not take over in like week 3?
No, I don't think so. Hold up. Severance, look this up for me.
Old AP.
Right. We need someone to like, maybe I'll have Smith like come in my room and just like be my researcher.
Okay. I'm down for that. I have nothing. Awesome. I have nothing to pay him, but.
Did we ever pay anyone anything?
No. Week
Mitch
4.
Trubisky, it was game 4. Okay, so I'm bugging, I guess.
Like in the middle of week 4, though, like in the middle of their game. Like third quarter. He got benched after halftime. Made it 3.5 games.
Mitch.
Next game, 49ers at Rams. Game-winning field goal by the Niners to make it 23-20. This is a weird division game. This is why I said the Niners, regardless of how many people they have injured, they're too well coached. They'll always just give someone trouble.
I mean, the week you said that, they got absolutely manhandled. So I don't know if you can really count that as being right about that.
But very much like PFF, the game backed it up this week, so it's got to be true.
Right. Look, Jared Goff, I feel bad for him, man. Like, I don't feel bad for him because he got an absolute bag for like one good season. 19-31, which isn't terrible. 198 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Meh. He's
How is that meh? That's not good.
I'm saying Jared Goff is meh.
Oh, he's meh.
That's
he's
not a good line.
Meh.
He's not even good, not great, which is a phrase I love to throw around to describe good, not great quarterbacks. He's solid. He's
not consistent enough to be good.
No, and he hasn't been in the league that long. Like, what is his 5th season?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a 2016 draft.
Niners got some pieces back on defense.
Well, the Niners defense is starting to come back into shape,
but still, like, bro, you got to win these games, man. Yeah. Like, you got to win.
The Rams are still in a playoff spot somehow, which is pretty remarkable.
Yeah. That division.
That's the only playoff team I think the Giants could beat would be the Rams.
Yeah, because they're like borderline shouldn't be a playoff team, honestly, at this point.
Well, yeah. If you got 2 teams that shouldn't be in the playoffs and they're playing in the playoffs, flip a coin.
Yeah. Speaking of teams that deserve to be in the playoffs, consistently good quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
No, but before we roast him for whatever he did, give credit where credit is due. Dalvin Cook goes down.
For like a series and a half.
Oh, he did come back. Yeah, I forgot he came back.
Yeah.
Okay, but they went more than a minute without Dalvin Cook.
Strat, I'm talking about NFC playoff teams. The Giants, I don't think are getting to the Super Bowl, and so whatever.
No Dalvin Cook for like 5 minutes. No Adam Thielen.
No Adam Thielen late in the week too.
Yeah. The Panthers scored 2 defensive touchdowns, so let's keep that in mind.
Well, slow down. The Panthers scored back-to-back fumble recovery touchdowns. It was
by the same guy,
Jeremy
too.
Chin.
Same guy.
Back-to-back plays for.
He's nice. He's been playing well the last couple weeks. He's a second-round pick, I think.
The odds of that happening are astronomical.
Yeah.
Like that, just bizarre. I just have to get that out there. Okay,
no, I'm glad you did, honestly.
Yeah.
Panthers are not a good team. They did nothing on offense. A good friend Joe Guido in the chat right now in the live, saying Syracuse loss followed by the Panthers loss is just brutal. Syracuse one has to be worse. I mean, did you see how Syracuse lost, Ben?
I did. I saw they lost. I didn't see it now.
Okay, so it's 3rd and like 15. Like I think it's 3rd and goal from. Like,
wait, I did see this.
Scrambling around.
Oh my god!
Does not throw the something with a C. I wanted to say Dante Culpepper, but it's definitely not.
It's not Dante Culpepper.
Definitely not. It's something with a C. It might be something Culpepper. Scrambling around, goes left, doesn't throw the ball away, gets sacked. You got to run up to the line. 4th and goal from like the 25. Guess what he does? He spikes it.
So funny.
Good
almost
shit.
Almost as bad as the Chargers' late game management.
Oh, we'll get there. Let's get to the last couple games. We already talked about the Giants extensively.
I just need to read this.
Yeah,
quote.
yeah. Read this. Rex Culpepper. There you go.
Rex, thank you.
Don't think there's any relation. But.
All right. So I was reading an Athletic article, and I don't know who Jay Morrison is. I didn't recognize him as like a Giants writer. He might just be like a national NFL writer for them or something. Mm-hmm. He wrote this as like a part of like a live like tweet call, like live updates column, live thoughts thing. The Giants put together a masterful 4-play, 5-yard drive to get a Graham Gano 32-yard field goal that ups the lead to 19-10. There's 3:54 left before we're all out of our misery. That's perfect. Like I literally could not have put it together. I couldn't have said it any better myself.
Graham Gano, your best player?
No. Our defense is good. We got some good pieces defensively. James Bradbury's having an awesome season.
Hey, Slayton? No, Bradbury has had a good season.
Look, I think Dave Gettleman should be fired as much as the next guy. Bradbury was a good signing.
He should just be like the defensive. He should just be the defensive GM.
He should not have anything to do with it. But
as an avid Giants fan, I will say Dave Gettleman should be back in that position.
Right. Look, the Giants, like Gettleman needs to go.
Next game. I'm surprised you put this one in the WTF tier as well, which is what tier 4 is. I think maybe you just put it here because of how it ended. Correct?
I mean, how excited would you have?
Chargers,
if we were
Bills
on Thursday. The 3-7 Chargers.
Say what you will about the record. That's still probably the offensive rookie of the year, a top 15 wide receiver in the league.
Sure. Move this
Keenan Allen.
Let's call this a tier 3 game.
Okay. Anthony Lynn, bro. What the fuck
also,
are you doing?
tier 3. The name of tier 3 was nothing to plan your day around, which I was proud of. I like that one.
Very fair, yeah.
Good game. You might have it. If you got like a 3 TV setup, you could put one of those on. Mm-hmm. Nothing you're gonna like sit down and like make a plan around. Chargers Bills.
Speaking of not having a plan, Anthony fucking Lynn. This is not new news. This is not new news that he doesn't know how to manage a clock, right? Like we've seen this time and time again this season. Anthony Lynn has not used any timeouts, down by 2 scores. Crazy Hail Mary from Justin Herbert.
Oh no, they had no timeouts at this point.
They had all 3 timeouts.
No, because in the first half they missed out on what could have been a score because they didn't use any of their timeouts.
Yes, because they didn't convert on 3rd down, waited 15 seconds, then called timeout, then punted it. Sounds good. And then the second half, crazy Hail Mary. They catch it somehow.
Admittedly,
game was over.
Meaningless. It's 27-17 with like 20-something seconds left.
But just say, you score the touchdown there, recover the onside kick, you kick a field goal, you're going to overtime. It's not completely
you'd probably have to get yards. It would have been like a miracle finish if the Chargers had pulled it off.
Okay, have you not seen a team pull off a miracle finish against the Bills recently?
They give up 2 of those in 1 year?
It is the Bills, man.
Yeah. Lost 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous.
Would you rather never see your team get to a Super Bowl or lose 4 straight?
Never see them make it.
Yeah.
And that is coming from a fan who very much has the opinion of, I'd rather make it to the Super Bowl and lose. Because I've seen...
That's not what you just said, though.
I know. But 4 straight is fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen Argentina lose in the World Series, in the World Cup. I'd rather have seen... I said world. It's because I was thinking about the Mets.
God.
I was thinking about the Mets losing the World Series.
God. Somebody clip that.
What do you mean somebody clip that? You're like the only other person who can clip it other than me.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Okay.
Says the guy with the Argentina flag behind him. Called it the World Series.
I was thinking about the Mets also losing in the fucking World Series. That's why, Ben. know what you're talking about, man. Hey, did you see your boy Aaron Judge has a toe tap in his swing? Maybe that'll prevent him from shattering 6 ribs a season.
He doesn't even shatter ribs. It's always soft tissue.
Sorry.
If you're gonna talk shit, at least get it right.
Come
on. If you're gonna talk shit, get it right.
What the Chargers did there makes no fucking sense.
That's what we were talking about.
But with the Bills too, Josh Allen needs to take care of the ball. Like, he had a bad pick late in the game. Like, he's got to take care of the football. That's probably their ceiling. Like, as good as Josh Allen has been.
Ceiling? What do you mean that's
like Josh Allen's play is their ceiling?
So Josh Allen will take them as far as Josh Allen takes them?
Yes.
Okay. I was not following that for a second.
Josh Allen's plays, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of a weird way to use like ceiling, I guess.
Fuck me then.
I didn't say it.
Next game. Ooh, what a great game, huh? Saints at Broncos. 31-3.
I was so fascinated to see what was going to happen in this game.
Well, let's start before the game. Let's start
like Saturday. You wake up Saturday morning, you're Kendall Hinton. Or no, you wake up Friday morning, you're Kendall Hinton.
No, this got announced.
I was going to make a point. I was going to make a point here.
Oh, okay.
So Saturday morning, you wake up, you're Kendall. Or no, Friday morning, you wake up, you're Kendall Hinton. You show up to practice. You're a random practice squad wide receiver for the Broncos. Don't even know like half the 53-man roster. You're literally just
people in the building.
You're literally just a guy. Like, you are at the end of the practice squad. Saturday, it comes out that the Broncos, all 3 of their quarterbacks have COVID. You wake up Sunday morning, you're Kendall Hinton, you're starting an NFL game at quarterback.
22 hours before.
And he played quarterback in college. Wow.
For 3 years.
Wow. Do you hear that voice crack? College.
I was like, in college.
Someone clip that.
Yo, Stratton, you recording?
Like, it's not like this guy was a backup quarterback at like Bama or LSU. He was a backup quarterback at Wake Forest. Known football powerhouse.
10 minutes from where I am right now, by the way.
Yeah.
Pretty tight.
I mean, like, you can't blame Kendall Hinton in the slightest.
I honestly, like, hats off to him. Like, everyone after the game from the Saints side was like so impressed. Like, doesn't matter the score. This man had to play quarterback the first time in like 3 years, 22 hours before the game. Didn't know half the people in the building. Like, crazy. He was 0 for 9 at the half.
What plays did they run for him? Like,
I don't know. I didn't watch the game, honestly.
Well, no, obviously I saw, a lot of runs, a lot of screens, but like, I mean, like, how do you're not handing him the full playbook at 22 hours before the game.
I put this poll out. Take away, like,
this was money, actually. I'm surprised this didn't get more like engagement.
What?
How many votes did you? Yes, poll. This was good.
I can check. Because classic, like, I could play quarterback in the NFL. Not counting like screens that are technically passes behind the line of scrimmage, little pop passes ahead, because that is technically it's technically a pass. How many passes do you, Ben Carlton Davis, think you can complete in the NFL?
None.
0?
Literally 0.
I think I could probably luck myself into 1.
All right, if you can complete 1, let's be honest, I have a better arm than you.
I don't know, dude. I'm pretty nice.
I'm very confident saying
I was next man up for quarterback. I was next man up for quarterback.
7th man up, you mean?
In fantasy football and not fantasy, in flag football.
Fantasy football. I don't think either one of us could complete any pass in the NFL.
I think I could luck myself.
I don't think you could.
I don't think so either, but I want to think I can.
Kendall Hinton went 1 of 9 with 2 interceptions for 9 yards.
And he played quarterback for like 3 years.
Was a screen.
Yeah.
You could not complete a pass in the NFL.
Well, I got 34.
Unless we have any NFL quarterbacks listening to this podcast, and maybe we do, and maybe
Paul Anderson.
You know who might be listening in
Paul?
Germany, speaking of quarterbacks?
Who?
Joe Germanario.
Oh, true.
I don't even know if he's in Germany. He signed with some team in Germany.
I would imagine they're not playing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He was technically a D1 quarterback.
Yeah, he was.
I got 34 votes on the poll. 56% of the people said that they can complete less than 3. 44% of the people think they can complete more than 3 passes.
44% of people are wrong.
Yeah.
You can like
that's like the kind of people that think they can
if,
turn a serve from Serena Williams. Like,
yeah, like you think about like if you look at the way the Saints defense played, they didn't line anyone up beyond like 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. Why would they?
Yeah.
You think Mr. Joe Schmo, average guy off the street, is going to complete a single pass in the NFL? Like, you're wrong. I think, it's not going to happen.
I got a tight end lined up like in line. He literally like hikes it and immediately turns around. I could probably just like.
You think there's not a dude lined up right over his dome? Like, what are they going to do? Play off?
Just going to everyone in hook zones, honestly.
Yeah, but they're playing cover 4,
they're like, all right, well, I know Matias Weilmann cannot throw the ball more than 5 yards down the field, so Jesus, bro, rough.
Saints win 31-3. Two guys playing, two non-quarterbacks playing quarterback in one game.
Rough, dude. Funny. I saw this hilarious tweet. It was like, the idea of not having any quarterbacks playing an NFL game is so much better than not having any NFL any quarterbacks playing in an NFL game. Because that was a rough game to watch.
I think you just said the same thing twice.
No. The concept of not having it is much better than actually not having it.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yep. All right. Dolphins, Jets.
20-3, Dolphins win. Ugly win for the Dolphins with Fitzmagic.
Wow, it's almost like you might as well – if Tua wasn't hurt, it's almost like you might as well have not benched Tua because, yet again, the Dolphins defense carried them to a win.
Yeah. Over a bad team.
Yes.
3 guaranteed scores. 3 scores tonight. First one, I think, Miles Sanders.
Interesting.
I think.
Are we doing this draft or are we doing like you give your 3, I give my 3?
I think we come up with 3. I do 1, you do 1, and then we'll come up with another one together.
Chris Carson.
Are you speaking that into existence, or?
Yes, but I also truly believe that Chris Carson will probably score a touchdown against the, notoriously stout Philadelphia Eagles.
They do have a good run defense. They just don't have a good anything else defense. I'll go with Tyler Lockett because I think that DK Metcalf and Darius Slayton will be probably fighting it out, and then they'll have they need some sort of safety help over the top.
Darius Slay, not Slayton.
Also that, yeah. I literally, anytime I see someone playing the Eagles, I'm like, okay, who is their number 2 receiver? Bang. Okay.
Play them. Over yards, over touchdowns.
Yeah. Okay, we have 3 things in our mailbag. First one, just Colt McCoy time.
Colt McCoy time.
Is that Jeremy or
Stratton?
Okay,
that's Jeremy.
Cool. Okay.
Not sure what that's supposed to mean.
The only thing I'll make of that is, our yearly reminder of, holy shit, Colt McCoy is still in the league.
Colt McCoy's still kicking.
Somehow. Second one, who's taking the fantasy chip?
We've had a real interesting couple weeks in the fantasy league. The Bueller Fantasy League.
We've had an interesting league. This week, if all results hold, the second team in the league will be eliminated from playoff contention. Everyone else is still alive.
Yeah.
It's bonkers.
I went up against Tyreek Hill and his 59 fantasy points. I'm up 50 right now.
It's nice to have Antonio Gibson give you 35 points.
It's nice to get like 38 out of my kicker and defense too.
Who'd you?
Young Hoku had 21. The Washington.
Oh my god.
No, it's funny actually. I picked up the Cleveland defense off the waiver.
Oh, and you forgot to start them.
And I forgot to start them. I fully intended to play them this week.
I started them last week.
I looked at my team on Sunday and I was like, or on Thursday.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, I left Washington's defense in, and lo and behold, they got me 17 points.
They had like 2 strip sacks late in the game.
Had a touch, like a 6-yard scoop and score in the fourth quarter.
I had Derrick Henry and I lost.
Did you officially lose yet? I thought you had.
I officially lost. He has Miles Sanders and he's up by 5. I put up 136 this week.
So for the listeners at home, barring a 70 burger from DK Metcalf this week, you're listening to the 2 guys tied for first place in the league.
Yeah, but I'm still ahead in point.
You're ahead in points for, but we're tied for first.
And let's be real, Ben. Who's surprised, right?
No.
It has literally been us 2 every single year.
I was really worried about my team 4 or 5 weeks into the season. I alternated wins and losses the first, I think, 6 weeks.
Yeah, what are you on, 4 straight wins, something like that?
This will be my 4th straight, yeah.
And Stratton was
I was also playing without my RB1, which was Saquon, and Chris Carson missed 4 weeks.
Damn, it's pretty crazy.
Hey, that Antonio Gibson pick, He's the guy that everyone was talking about as like the sleeper this season, like the out of nowhere guy. And I almost always avoid that guy just like out of like for no other reason than just
Matthew Berry.
Yeah. And I think I took him like 6th round maybe. And he's been cooking. He's been in my lineup every week. I got Mike Davis off the wire.
True. I'm just happy I took Jordan Howard in round 13.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be an absolute barn burner coming down the season. Also, ESPN, bro, let us change the lengths of our like playoff weeks, but like not attach them.
Do we move the league?
We have to consider it.
I mean, I hate CBS. Yahoo's trash.
Sleeper's weird.
Sleeper's just fucking weird. Also, Sleeper's rankings make no sense.
Well, that's because it was a dynasty league.
Still,
Juju should not be 8 and Derrick Henry should not be like 30. Like,
yeah.
Like,
man, who took Derrick Henry in like the 3rd round this year?
I don't know.
I lost to Ryan this week.
2 straight weeks.
Worst kid in the league.
You lost to Drew Break it, Drew Buy it.
Yeah.
Pretty rough, man. And you lost to me last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Last point of business. R.I.P. Maradona.
For real.
That was fucking rough, man. That's rough. That's the GOAT right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Last point, semi-related to Maradona. What's a more egregious handball? And I know you might be a little biased here. The hand of God goal or Thierry Henry's like literal tap-in against Ireland in like the Euro whatever year that was?
It's still got to be Maradona.
Have you seen that Thierry Henry goal anytime recently?
Yes, but you win a World Cup because of that. And
I'm not talking about more important. I'm talking about more egregious.
I don't know. Dude, if you watch that, it's not this. It's literally this. Like, if you see the picture, he's going like this.
Hey, good news for you, Kamish. You don't have to do anything.
Week 12 of fantasy extended. Okay, cool. Thank God.
I think the Thierry Henry goal is more egregious.
All right, we'll put a poll up.
He literally slapped the ball back into play and then scored it. Like, dude is playing a handball. Like, at least Maradona was, like, vaguely sort of going for the ball with his head.
Yeah, fair.
It was probably a deliberate handball, but, like, at least he, like, had, the wherewithal to be like, let me at least, like, get my head in the vicinity. It was so bad.
Oh, man. So fucking funny. Oh. All right. I don't want to cry again. Second Floor Sports. Oh, going out right on time, 6 p.m. We'll be back.
Did we set a time to go out?
Yeah, we said an hour.
I think we said an hour, and here we are, an hour 20 in.
Hour 15.
Hour 20.
Not bad. We will be back on Thursday, hopefully with a guest to be announced later. We're going to be talking a lot of NBA as we get close to the season. Obviously, going to be previewing next week in football. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Pods, Google Pods, Anchor.
You forgetting one?
Breaker. Appreciate you listening in. If you're watching us on YouTube, show us some love, subscribe, give us 5 stars, let us know what you think.
If you're our listener in Germany, comment. I'd love to know who you are.
It's got to be just like a random, like, what is this? Just like click on it.
Is that your German accent?
Yeah.
Maybe that's not
that's why I said, what is this? And not just like anything else, you know? Although, because my grandma is German, I know how to say, sleep well, have sweet dreams, and don't piss the bed.
Hit me.
Schlaf gut, rein süß, und mach pipi.
Cool.
That's dead ass how you say it.
You could have just said literally fucking anything. Sure.
I do not know a lot of German. And when I say I don't know a lot of German, that's all I know in German.
That's literally it.
That's literally it. All right. Yeah, that's definitely it for our show. We will talk to you guys on Thursday.